Well, it may feel like an early spring, but when winter just won't let go, well, technically think about it, guys. It's still March, and we're going to get a dose of reality, I think, for much of the east as we head into this weekend with some colder air moving in and maybe even some snow in the forecast. Still a lot up in the air, and we're going to talk about that today. It's been a warm weekend in many areas. In fact, temperatures warming up even more heading into Monday across parts of the Midwest up into the Northeast as strong southwesterly flow continues. A very strong area of low pressure, though, spinning back across Canada. It's bringing in some colder air here. Also out ahead of it, again, the warm air surging to the north and east. That will continue to affect our weather as we head into Monday, and we'll start to see rain showers. And some of these here could be on the strong side as our cold front continues to push off to the south and east, wrapping really around this occluded area of low pressure here up into Canada. That will continue through the day on Monday. There could even be a few strong to severe thunderstorms along the cold front. Storm Prediction Center already highlighting this area for the chance of severe weather, so it stretches from Chicago right down the middle of Illinois into parts of Missouri, most of Arkansas, Louisiana, to East Texas and Louisiana. The primary threat here, strong damaging winds, some hail, and there's also a bit of a tornado threat. The Storm Prediction Center highlighting this area, a very similar area to where we just saw the tornado threat, just over a week ago now, here into parts of southern Wisconsin and also into parts of northern Illinois. It does include Chicago. Now, the chances are much lower than what we saw last week, but with enough wind shear, a few isolated supercells are possible, and again, that could lead to a few tornadoes. Well, as we move through the day on Monday, a few thunderstorms start to pop, and especially into the evening hours here across East Texas and Louisiana, and then into the late evening, into the overnight hours here across southern Wisconsin, and then here into Illinois. This area, again, is the highlighted area for maybe a few tornadoes heading into tomorrow evening. It looks like an overnight threat, again, with more strong thunderstorms overnight here through Illinois, parts of Missouri, and Arkansas. And we'll have to watch here along the Gulf Coast, especially as we head into Tuesday, as everything pushes off to the east, a few more strong to severe thunderstorms possible. So let's take a look at the rest of the country. We've got the snow showers across the west. Those will continue through the day on Monday. We've also got a weak area of low pressure that's going to move up the coast. That's going to bring rain showers, especially into Monday afternoon and Monday evening for the coastal areas here along the mid-Atlantic. And return flow starting to develop on the backside of this high. That's pulling in some Gulf moisture. Our cold front, again, back here, that will continue to push off to the south and east. And as it does so, it'll interact with this front, and that's going to cause widespread showers. And again, we mentioned those thunderstorms in these areas. Now we're heading into Tuesday morning, another system moving into the west. That's going to bring another round of heavy rain and snow here to some of the coastal ranges, even into the Intermountain West again. There's that area of low pressure moving up the coast. So now we've got wet weather here along the coastal cities from D.C. up to Philadelphia, up to New York, into parts of southern New England. And then our front continues to push off to the east as we move into the day Tuesday into Tuesday evening, bringing more showers here into the Ohio Valley. So from New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, all the way south into the deep south, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, we've got quite a bit of rain going, and then low pressure starting to develop here. Across the west, we stay unsettled with more rain and snow showers, and then this low begins to move up the east coast. Now we're moving into Wednesday evening, into Wednesday night. That low looks like it's going to try to get a little bit deeper. Over the last couple of days, the models have been showing this. It's been trying to indicate that on the north side, we'll see some snow as high pressure up here reinforces some of that cold air. I will tell you, this run not so bullish for the snow. This is the latest run of the European. Here's the GFS. It's a little more bullish on some snow, but again, not nearly as heavy, and it keeps the snow mainly across northern parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, into parts of Maine, but for the most part, just a rain event here with that first system. Another storm, though, looks like it's going to move to the north and east as we head toward the weekend. So we're tracking two storms. The first one doesn't look too impressive. The second one looks a little more strong. This one could bring some snow here, and this is another area to watch too, across the northern plains into parts of Wisconsin, and then up into parts of Michigan, potentially, depending on the track. This almost looks like a bit of a Miller B type system where you get low pressure moving north and then it transitions toward the coast. If I'm going to tell you where I feel confident about, I guess it's in this area. I think it's all rain. Snow potential, well, I think it's on the table. Now, if anyone tells you it's not, I don't think it's completely down the river just yet. The GFS has this trough here much more amplified. In fact, some would argue, look, it's going actually a bit negative tilted here as we head into Sunday. That's putting heavier snow here into parts of New England, places like Massachusetts, into parts of Maine, and that's a pretty good thump of snow if the GFS can come to pass. Now, the European is a little bit different, but not maybe as much as you might think. A lot of people say, well, if there's not a storm in my backyard, it didn't happen. Well, I'm telling you, something's showing up here, and I think somebody's going to get some snow out of this. Is it going to be Michigan? Well, the European says maybe so. While our trough isn't quite as negatively tilted here, in fact, it's more of a positively tilted trough, low pressure is still showing up here on the European as we move into Sunday. So yes, we are talking about 1 week from today. A lot of time to iron this out. And look, the European really trying to deepen this low once it moves east of Cape Cod. That would put a lot of snow here into parts of northern New England, kind of keeping things mostly rain to snow for places like Connecticut and Massachusetts, and then ending as snow for places like New York City. But for the most part, yes, if you're in New York City, if you're in New Jersey, if you're really anywhere in the Mid-Atlantic, this is mostly a rain event for you. However, this could be some snow for parts of northern New England, and maybe ending as snow too, all the way down to the coast as some colder air wraps in. Either way, I'm starting to feel more confident that next weekend, it's kind of a return to winter in many areas as, well, it's going to feel colder. And wherever this system goes, once it's over, who knows what's going to happen, right? Because, I mean, I don't put much faith in any model past day 7 or day 8. I have a hard time putting it in faith past day 3 or 4, to be honest with you. But heading into next week, the trend, I think, would be for temperatures to warm back up across the east. We're unsettled across the west. That seems to be the norm. And I think we stay stormy with the potential for storms across the United States. And when I say storms, I'm talking about mid-latitude cyclones or areas of low pressure, really just spinning up along our boundary of cold air wherever that develops. Again, where is that going to be? I don't know, but certainly something to keep an eye on. I don't think we're completely done with winter yet. That doesn't mean you may see a big snow in your backyard. I just think the active winter-like pattern is going to continue as we head into March and even into parts of April. That could mean a bad, severe weather setup too, with storm after storm. So this is going to be something to keep an eye on. I'll be watching it all week. I've done a video every day now for almost 2 months straight. We're getting very close to blowing through 4,500 subscribers now in just over 2 months here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. So if you like this type of content, I hope you will subscribe. And as always, I love hearing from you. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what things are like in your world. You know, I saw some rose bushes blooming today. Spring is in the air, but officially spring not starting until later this month. Meteorological spring may be here, but we can always get these cold spells, and, you know, this doesn't surprise me, nor does it shock me. And, you know, I think we're going to see more of this as we head through the month. Now, heading into Monday, we're going to get really warm across Texas. We've got 80s. Look at the 70s pushing all the way up into the upper Midwest. Here comes that front that, again, that will bring the potential for severe weather heading into tomorrow. You can clearly see where that is here. And there's your cool down as we head into Wednesday. Numbers falling back into the teens and 20s across the northern plains. High temperatures as we move into Wednesday, much cooler across these areas, and then again much colder as we head into the weekend, especially across, say, places like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. We're back into the 30s and 40s with lows dropping into the teens and 20s. Across the east, another day of southwesterly flow. That's going to keep temperatures really warm here. The only cool area I think holding on would be here into parts of New England. Cold air trying to drop in actually from the northeast, but look, here comes the real cold air back to the north and west. You can see it moving into parts of Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, dropping our numbers back closer to where I guess they should be this time of year. This certainly isn't an Arctic blast by any stretch of the imagination, and I think if anything it kind of kicks us back to where we should be this time of year. And then even as we head into Thursday, I mean, look, we've got highs here into the 40s, 50s, and 60s across the south. Really what we're seeing, the 70s get pushed back down into the deep south, closer to where they should be this time of year, and now we're back into the 40s and 30s across northern areas. Another shot of cold air, again, looks like it's going to try to move in, and this is what we're talking about heading into next weekend. Across the west, you can clearly see this northwest flow bringing in that cold maritime air from Alaska, if you will, keeping things chilly here. We do start to moderate some as we head through the week. Temperatures down into the valleys, especially across the southwest, a little cool at night, but warming back up into the 70s for places like Phoenix. And then again, across the Intermountain West, we stay cold here. A lot of snow on the ground too in these areas, but we're back up into the 50s in some of the valleys here. Places like Salt Lake City getting very close to 50 as we head into Wednesday. But look, here comes some more cold air diving in, or at least trying to push in into the northern plains as we head into the weekend. All right, guys, that's all I got for now. Now, if you're wondering what the rest of the month holds, I've got an update video here for the month of March, the longer range forecast. Check that one out. I'll see you right over there in that video.